The sun cast its golden rays over the vast Maasai Mara, where life was a constant battle between hunter and prey. At the edge of this wild land, a young boy named Kito wandered away from his village, unaware of the dangers lurking in the shadows. As night fell, fear gripped the village. No one lost to the jungle ever returned. But then something unbelievable happened. A fierce lion, powerful enough to end Kito's life in an instant, made an unexpected choice, one that would change both their destinies forever. The sun blazed over the vast Maasai Mara, casting long golden rays over the endless grasslands. Birds soared through the sky, their calls echoing across the plains, while the occasional roar of a distant predator sent smaller creatures scurrying for cover. Life pulsed through the land in an unbroken rhythm of survival, a balance between hunter and prey, where the strong ruled and the weak perished. At the edge of this wild and unforgiving land sat a small village, a cluster of mud and thatch huts where people lived in harmony with the wilderness. In one of these huts, a 2-year-old boy named Kito played near his mother, Makina. His name meant precious, and indeed he was the heart of his mother's world. Makina had spent the afternoon gathering firewood, occasionally glancing over her shoulder to check on her son. Kito, with his chubby legs and wide, curious eyes, was drawn to every moving thing, be it a buzzing insect or a drifting feather. His laughter filled the air as he toddled after a brilliantly colored butterfly, his tiny hands reaching out to grasp it. But the butterfly flitted further, leading him beyond the safety of the clearing and into the tall grass. The village was small, and the wilderness stretched endlessly beyond it. No one noticed as Kito wandered deeper, giggling with delight, oblivious to the dangers that lurked in the shadows. By the time Makina looked up and called his name, he was gone. Panic surged through her. She dropped the firewood and ran frantically around the village, shouting for him. The other women turned their heads, and soon the entire village was in an uproar. Warriors grabbed their spears and elders muttered prayers, for they all knew what it meant when a child was lost to the jungle. The wilderness did not return what it took. Deep in the heart of the jungle, Kito had long since lost sight of the butterfly. His small feet stumbled over roots, his hands scratched by thorny branches. The sun was beginning to sink, and the trees around him seemed to grow taller, darker, their shadows stretching toward him like fingers. He whimpered, tears welling in his large brown eyes. The warmth of his village was gone. The comforting voice of his mother was replaced by eerie sounds, hoots, rustles, the distant howls of unseen creatures. Then a sound came, a deep, rumbling growl that made the ground beneath him tremble. Kito turned and found himself staring into the golden eyes of a lion. Jabari was no ordinary lion. He was the undisputed king of his territory, a fearsome warrior with a deep scar running across his muzzle. He had survived battles against rival males, outlived many of his kin, and ruled his pride with absolute dominance. But Jabari was also a father who had known loss. Months ago, his cubs had been stolen by a pack of ruthless hyenas, their helpless cries echoing through the night as they were dragged away. Jabari had searched, fought, but it was too late. The emptiness in his heart had festered ever since, a pain he could not heal, and now before him sat a tiny creature, helpless, lost, but unafraid. Kito, too young to understand his peril, stared up at the lion with wide, teary eyes. The beast loomed over him, powerful enough to end his life with a single swipe. But then the unthinkable happened. Instead of crying, instead of running, Kito reached out with his tiny, dirt-streaked hand and touched the lion's nose. Jabari froze. The boy's fingers were soft, trembling but unafraid. He smelled of milk and earth, of innocence and trust. The mighty lion, feared by all who roamed the jungle, did not roar. He did not strike. Instead, he slowly lay down, his golden mane brushing against the dirt. With a slow, deliberate motion, he licked the child's face, cleaning the dust from his cheeks as a mother lion would her cub. And Kito, instead of recoiling, giggled. The jungle was no place for a child at night. Predators lurked in the darkness, their eyes glinting like stars, their hunger insatiable. Jabari knew this. He could have left the boy, walked away, let nature take its course. But something in him, perhaps the echo of a father's love, refused to abandon the child. With a deep sigh, the lion stood, nudging Keto onto his back. The boy clung to his thick mane, his tiny fingers curling into the golden fur. And so, with the moon rising above them, the lion carried the lost child toward the distant village. Their journey was not without peril. A leopard, sleek and silent, dropped from a tree, its eyes locking onto the vulnerable boy. Jabari's roar split the night, a deafening challenge that sent the spotted predator slinking away. A raging river blocked their path, its waters deep and fast-moving. Jabari waded in, the current threatening to sweep them away. But with careful steps, he carried Keto safely to the other side. And then the hyenas came. They had smelled the boy's scent, tracked it through the night, their laughter rising like a chorus of death. Dozens of them encircled the lion, their eyes gleaming with hunger. Jabari stood firm, muscles coiled, teeth bared. He had lost his own cubs to these beasts, and he would not lose this one. With a mighty roar, he lunged. The hyenas yelped and scattered, the memory of his wrath too fresh to challenge him again. At dawn, the village stood in mourning. Makina had spent the night weeping, her voice hoarse from calling Keto's name. The warriors had searched, but no trace of the boy had been found. Then the sentry's voice rang out. "Lion! A lion is coming!" Spears were raised, hearts pounded. But what they saw left them frozen in disbelief. A massive lion emerged from the tall grass, walking with slow, deliberate steps. And there, cradled gently in his jaws, was Keto, alive, unharmed. Gasps filled the air as Jabari set the child down. Makina ran, sobbing, sweeping Keto into her arms. She turned, expecting the lion to strike, to demand his prize. But Jabari only stood there, watching. Then the child did something remarkable. He waved, "Bye-bye, Bari." The lion gave one last rumbling purr before turning and vanishing into the golden grass. Keto grew into a warrior unlike any other. He did not fear the jungle. He did not see the beasts as monsters. He understood them. One day he stood between a group of poachers and an old scarred lion. "This lion once saved my life," he said, standing firm. The poachers laughed, until a deep growl rumbled behind them. The entire pride had come. The hunters fled, and Keto turned to see Jabari, older now but still mighty. The lion nudged his hand one last time before disappearing into the wild. And so the boy who had once been lost in the jungle became its protector. And in the heart of the wilderness, an old lion rested, knowing his legacy would live on.